Let's do build a world and character. What kind of a world? Let's say the world of Daggerfall. It should feel like fantasy. Name for our character. Oh, now for the role for the character. Roll again. Let's do this one. That's pretty good. And I want to be Khajiit, of course. Ooh, I can't type. And let's make a custom class called Spellsword. I want some weapons. How about a short sword? Custom weapon. Go back to the main menu, and let's pick some armor. How about padded robes? I think that's it for the gear. Done. My name? You can pick my name. So the advantage of having an AI as a dungeon master is you can describe things to it, and it will intelligently respond. So I could just say, you can pick my name, and it should pick a name for us. I would like to be a male Khajiit. Where does it start? How about just a town? So what's happening now is the AI is actually going off and generating a world and a story, like a rough outline that it would like us to follow, like a real dungeon master. It's also going to contact a local image generation service. I have Comfy UI running on this machine, and it's going to generate pictures for every room that we're in, every time we enter a new area. We also have access to a map and a notebook, which I'll show you. And it tries to keep track of your character sheet and your inventory as you go. So part of what inspired me to make this is I would play like text adventure games as a kid, and I always wanted to have infinite intelligence and like infinite games. So like the ability to describe exactly what you want as you would to a human, as opposed to just saying like north, west, open door, take all. It would get very limiting and frustrating. And all right, so it started. We have 12 hit points, 3 gold. We're in the Sleeping Boar Inn. Rain hisses on the cobbles as you pad into Stone Hollow, the town huddled under slate roofs and dripping eaves. The Sleeping Boar Inn glows ahead, its sign creaking in the wind. A stout Breton woman leans in the doorway, arms crossed, and watches you approach with a frank, appraising look. You're new, she says, not unfriendly. Name's Orla. Rooms are cheap, but coins scarcer than a dry day in High Rock. I've a small problem might earn you a bed, if you're the sort who pokes into things. She jerks her chin toward the town square. How do you jerk your chin? Someone's been digging in the temple's herb garden at night. Brother Aldrich's spooked, and the folk here are jumpy as hens. 3 folk vanished this fortnight, and the deputy's got no, that's deputy. She lets the silence hang, rain drumming on the porch roof. You look like you can handle a blade. Interested? What it's doing currently in the background is it's looking at everything that's happened so far and generating an image, and now it decided on the tags it's going to use, and it's going to send it to the image API. I can hear my GPU in this machine spinning up now. Why is there a boar? Oh, it thinks of the wild boar inn. So one thing that's sad is local image generation models are not nearly as good as the paid ones. I really prefer doing everything locally, because then I have complete control of my data. I know it's not being used for training purposes or to steal it or anything like that. And that's kind of why I made this, is that so you can run your own local LLMs and like interact with them and have something useful to do. Local models have gotten pretty good for LLMs, but for image generation, it's still not great. I've tinkered with this for a while. This is Nova Furry XL. It's a Stable Diffusion Turbo XL fine tune, I think. You can run your own image generation models and play around, but yeah, that's the best we get for the moment. You step under the porch roof, shaking rain from your robes. Orla nods at your short sword. Job's simple enough, she says. Find out who's digging in the temple garden and why. Might be a grave robber, might be some cult nonsense. The deputy's got no leads, and the priest's too scared to look himself. She counts coins in her palm. Room's 2 silver a night. Do this, and I'll throw in 3 nights free plus a hot meal. She squints at you. Fair warning, the watchtower up the hill has been glowing all night, and the smell's off. Some say it's the cult, but the digging is at the temple. It sounds a lot to me like someone is robbing bodies for the cult. So let's check our map. This is what we're aware of so far, and currently we're just at the Sleeping Boar Inn. It cut off in. Interesting. Let's put this right here. Actually, I got a cool feature to show you. You can type print and type anything. On a Commodore 64 or optionally here, it'll send it to a real printer, but we have this notebook where we can store our notes, so you don't have to write things down. Let's say print the quest. The AI will now analyze our adventure so far and decide how best to handle this request, and it should give us just the quest in a little notebook. We'll give it a sec. Maybe I'll try Gen 4 again. It's faster. There we go. So it now says, Orla, a stout Breton woman at the Sleeping Boar Inn in Stone Hollow offers a job. Someone's been digging in the Temple Herb Garden at night. Payment. Okay, it's pretty concise. Could probably do a little more terse. What's going on there? There we go. Might have been a bug where you have to toggle that on and off. So let's say, let's just say, it'll figure it out. Go towards the temple. You nod to Orla and step back into the rain, crossing the muddy square. The Temple of Kinnereth rises ahead. Mossy stone and a sagging timber door. Warm lantern light bleeding from its narrow windows. A cracked fountain statue of Stendar weeps water into a half-empty basin. The town notice board creaks nearby, nailed with a few flapping papers. Oh, that could be interesting to look at. The temple door is ajar. Inside you can see a gaunt priest in gray robes kneeling before the altar. A small herb garden visible through a side window, its soil churned and trampled. So now the map is aware that there's a new location called the town square, and it's south of where we were. Let's look at the notice board, and this will happen in a second because it's making a new image for us because I have the automatic illustration feature on. The boar's head welcomes all, even you. It welcomes actual boars, apparently. The rain knows your name, wanderer. This must be a temple. It looks more like a Japanese shrine. Look at the notice board. Oh yeah, let's get some more music too. I'm going to do things one at a time. Actually, yeah, I won't interrupt it. You stop the notice board, rain beating on your whiskers. 3 notices catch your eye. A faded reward poster for a missing miner named Corvin. Last seen near the old watchtower. 50 gold for 50 gold. She offered us like 3 silver. We should just ditch this quest and do that one. A fresh hand-lettered note. Temple Herb Garden. Trespassers will be dealt with. Deputy Harolf. That must be the deputy. A worn water-stained parchment in a neat script. The red flame rises. The faithful gather at the hour of that is so subtle. Man, I wonder if the cult could have written that. The third notice is odd. The paper smells faintly of pitch, and the handwriting is careful, almost formal. The temple door stands ajar. Warm light spilling out onto the cobbles. New song. Oh, let's do, I think if we do music auto. How does music? There. The narrator will actually choose music for us based on what's happening in the story. Cool, eerie. Let's see. I kind of want to grab the paper for the missing persons case. Oh, it's this song again. I don't know, maybe I only have one eerie song. Oh, there he goes. Grab the paper for the missing persons case. You pull the reward poster free, the paper crackling in your claws. Rain drips on the board's edge. The ink is faded but legible. Corvin, a tin miner missing 2 weeks ago. A crude sketch shows a stocky Breton with a thick beard. The reward is real. How do you know it's real? 50 gold is a small fortune in a town like this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You tuck the poster into your robes. The notice board creaks. The temple door remains ajar. Lantern light, yeah, we know that. Let's check our inventory. So it didn't actually update to say that we have it. This is all dynamically generated, so the output of this is determined by a tool call that the LLM is making on the back end. So if we say inventory, let's see if it updates our inventory. We could do the same thing for the character sheet. Like, for example, it doesn't know our spells yet, so I'm going to check to see my spells, and then hopefully that will update. You pat down your robes, checking your gear. Indeed, yeah, these are certainly the things we picked in the beginning. Missing poster for Corvin, that's new. Let's see if this updates. I didn't see it update. There are, of course, some bugs. This is version 1.0, and I am still working on things. And definitely interested in playtesters and bug reports. However, it should still keep track of what we have. It's just not showing up in my little fancy UI there. We could even print our inventory, just in case we don't want to lose it. Ooh, my notebook. Oh, no. Yeah, get that back there. Make sure you can still see my window okay. I really need a second monitor. Here's my character sheet, inventory, character. Okay, cool. I love that feature. I think it's so cool. There's a bug I noticed. You have to toggle conversation on and off or the focus doesn't go back to the text entry. All right, where were we? Let's just go around the back of the temple and sit down and rest. Try to remain hidden. Oh, there's another feature. Check this out. So the Dungeon Master will roll dice for you if necessary, but we could also do it ourselves. So we could say like you would in a D&D game, like, oh, I'm going to roll my, I don't know, what it would be, dexterity, rolling for hiding, add dex maybe, I'm not sure. We rolled a 9. You slip around the side of the temple, keeping low along the mossy wall. The herb garden is a wreck. Sage and rosemary trampled, dark soil churned in the furrows. A small wooden trowel lying discarded in the mud, fresh footprints, heavy boots, sizable. They lead from the garden to the temple's rear door. You crouch behind a rain barrel and settle in. The robe's dark against the stone. Oh, it rolled again for us. Roll d20. 11 versus 12 hiding. The shadows are too shallow. The drizzle thins and the moon breaks through a rent in the clouds. Your hiding spot is decent, but the garden is open ground. A keen eye could spot you. Still, you're patient. The night is quiet, save for the dripping eaves and the distant creak of the inn sign. Minutes pass, then you hear it. Soft footsteps approaching from the direction of the Watchtower Trail. I try to remain as hidden as possible in the gloom, in the moonlight, and look out towards the figures with my keen Khajiit eyes. You press deeper into the shadows behind the rain barrel, your feline eyes widening to catch every scrap of moonlight. The footsteps grow closer, 2 figures moving with deliberate care. The first is a broad-shouldered man in a deputy's tabard, a lantern shuttered in one hand, a shovel in the other. Deputy Hrolf, you'd guess. The second is shorter, hooded, clutching a bundle of cloth to their chest. They stop at the edge of the garden. You said the priest would be asleep by now, the hooded figure whispers, voice thin and nervous. He is, Hrolf replies, his voice low and gruff, and the acolyte's gone. No one's left to hear us. He sets the lantern down and begins digging at the base of the garden wall near a loose stone. The hooded figure kneels, unwrapping a bundle, a clay jar stoppered with wax. They're not stealing herbs, they're burying something. Ooh, I didn't see that coming. Briefly check my spells while watching. Mentally. I want to figure out what spells I know. That's something that we didn't do in character creation. You keep your eyes on the figures, but let your mind drift inward, touching the familiar threads of your training. Your spellbook memory is a short list. Mage Light, Spark, Minor Ward, Open. Oh, that's not very... Well, I guess Spark is sort of offensive. Nothing for stealth, nothing for combat. You focus on the scene. Hrolf has spread the loose stone aside, revealing a shallow hollow beneath the wall. The hooded figure places the clay jar inside, muttering something you can't quite catch, a phrase that sounds almost like a prayer. Hrolf replaces the stone, then stamps the earth flat. There he grunts. The priest will never find it. Now let's move before the rain returns. The 2 figures rise, gather the lantern and shovel, and begin heading back the way they came, toward the Watchtower Trail. Obviously, I'm going to print my spells. Get our notebook back. I gotta make this a reasonable size. I want to see something here. That's better. Spells of the Khajiit Wanderer. Mage Light. That is good. Perfect. Perfect. Let, oh yeah, here's that bug again. Close and open that. Wait for them to have fully left. I don't like that sentence. Wait for them to leave. Then go and dig up the jar. You wait, breath shallow, as the 2 figures retreat into the gloom of the Watchtower Trail. Their footsteps fade, swallowed by the rain-slicked night. The garden falls silent, save for dripping eaves and the distant creak of the inn sign. You rise from behind the rain barrel and pad to the loose stone. The earth is freshly tamped, easy to work. You pry the stone aside with your claws, revealing the clay jar. Stoppered with black wax, about the size of your fist. You lift it free. It's cool and faintly warm, as if it's been recently handled. A symbol is pressed into the wax, a jagged four-pointed star, unfamiliar. Four-pointed star. Unfamiliar but unsettling. You hear a faint scratching from within the jar. You're alone in the garden. Pop the jar open with wanton abandon. By the way, when I would actually play Elder Scrolls games, I would ignore the main plot and basically go off and just steal from people, break into homes, commit mayhem. I was chaotic. Chaotic good, chaotic neutral. Yeah, I guess that's not so good. You twist the stopper free with a wet pop, the wax creaking. A thin wisp of acrid smoke curls out, stinging your nostrils. Inside the jar, nestled in ash and bone shards, is a small red gem that pulses with a faint sickly glow. The scratching sound stops. Then the gem flares, and a voice, dry as old parchment, echoing as if from a deep well, whispers directly into your mind. You have found my eye, little cat. Bring it to the red flame, and you will be rewarded. Keep it, and you will be found. So it's like a ring of power. The voice fades, the gem pulses once more. Then dims to a dull, steady throb. The jar is empty, but for ash. I'm not going to do this entire game, so let's make this a little bit absurd. Eat the gem. Again, you can do anything. You can also have a discussion with the Dungeon Master at the beginning about how you'd like the game to go. And in the character creation, when it said, like, how would you like this to proceed, you could put in, like, anything you want. You raise the gem to your lips and swallow it whole. It goes down like a lump of cold lead, then settles in your stomach with a faint, unpleasant warmth. For a moment, nothing. Then your vision blurs and the voice returns, louder this time, with a note of something like amusement. Bold, stupid, but bold. The eye is part of me now. The eye is part of me now, and you are part of it. We are connected, little cat. I will find you wherever you run. I scream into the dark air. I will find you. You are still crouched in the rain-soaked garden, the empty jar at your feet, the temple's rear door a few paces away. The voice cuts through the rain. Your voice cuts through the rain, raw and defiant. The empty jar clatters at your feet for a moment, nothing but the patter of water on stone. Then the pulse in your gut quickens, and the voice returns, golden dry. I await, little cat. Bring your courage, bring your claws. The red flame is patient. The presence recedes, leaving you alone in the garden, heart hammering. Run into the church and scream that I've been possessed. Through no fault of my own, nor my own actions. You burst through the rear door, robes dripping and nearly clad with Brother Aldrich, who's lighting a candle by the altar. He staggers back, eyes wide, as you gasp out your tale. The jar, the gem, the voice, the swallowing. Aldrich's face pales. He grabs your shoulders, gaunt fingers digging in. Calm yourself, friend. You ate a red gem from a jar buried beneath my wall? He mutters a prayer to Keenereth and pulls a small silver flask from his robes. Drink this. It's holy water, blessed by the temple. If the spirit clings to you, it will burn. Grab the flask and throw it as hard as I can on the wall. Damn it. Priest, I need skooma. Not your little vial of vodka. I don't think they had vodka. I'm a bad role player. The flask shatters against the stone wall, holy water splashing across the floorboards. Aldrich flinches, then his expression hardens from worry to something sharper. Skooma, repeats, voice low and cold. You've come into my temple, reeking of whatever curse you've swallowed, and demand skooma? I buried 3 folk this fortnight, friend, and I'll not add you to the pile. He steps back, hand resting on the altar. The pulse in your gut throbs once, almost in rhythm with his words. I can help you if you let me, but I need truth, not tantrums. What exactly did you take, and what did it say to you? The temple is quiet. So you get the idea. I will continue this, perhaps. But this is just sort of the tip of the iceberg of what you can do. There's an entire other feature here. There's multiple features, but let's make a new conversation. And then you can also, let's go back to chat mode and go to the, where is it? Wait, I am in chat mode. Back to chat mode. Let's do help. Oh yeah, we could talk to the AI assistant. So now I'm just talking directly to the AI model. I could be like, can you give me a recipe? Recipe, how do you spell recipe? For, I don't know, chicken with broccoli. Please list ingredients and then the steps to prepare it. Here's a simple chicken and broccoli stir fry. 2 chicken breasts, 2 cups. Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. So you could also just, what I like to do on my real Commodore 64 upstairs, it's kind of near my kitchen, I just like keep it running and I could ask it questions if random things come up, especially about like recipes or things like that. General purpose chat, but it doesn't go to ChatGPT, it just goes to my local models, which I really prefer. It picked some new music for me because I'm still playing music. Oh, it thinks we're on a Commodore. Fast and your chip won't even have it. So yeah, this is all customizable. You can also download Silly Tavern character AI cards and plug those in if you wanted to like do a more character roleplay based thing with a specific person, back and forth. But yeah, I think that gives you a pretty good idea. The Commodore 64 and the Windows 3.11 clients do the same thing. It's just a slightly different interface, like a few more features, like this window up here that always displays the picture. I think you can also just like arbitrarily request pictures. So like at this time, it might apply the roleplay like template, or it might not. I'm not actually sure. Let's see. And you could print these to a real printer if you wanted to. I have a thermal printer upstairs that's kind of like faster than a dot matrix printer. So I'm not using like the Commodore 64, was it MPU 703 or whatever it is. And that can print out like black and white pictures and text really fast. So I could print out a recipe or whatever and just have a hard copy. Yeah, there's our horrible chicken with broccoli. It doesn't look anything like it. The kitchen hums, your stir fry waits. Yeah, but I hope you'll check it out. This is called LLM64. It's on my GitHub. If you just go to foxipso.com, and then I gotta add my GitHub here. But you just click on GitHub. It'll take you to my GitHub page, repositories, LLM64. There's lots of instructions. You can download it for Windows or for Commodore 64. You can run it in an emulator or on a real machine, or you can run it in the real Windows 3.11 or Windows 95 or Windows 98, which I think is a little more classy. But I've tried to make the Windows 11 client look as close as possible to the original, and I think I did a pretty good job. Yeah, but I'm looking for feedback, and bug reports surely will come. But yeah, thanks. Check it out.